In this video, we are looking into the process journal. Many students have a bit trouble on how you will be able to write down your process journal in your ManageBack. So to come up with this, a process journal should be the following. So you are going to record the intent or process the accomplishment, what you need to do. And then throughout your project, you have to document what you have developed. So it means process, right? You need to write down all the necessary things that you have initially thinking and then developing it until the end part. So place a record in initial thoughts, development, brainstorming, lines of inquiry, several of the questions you have been raising, and then also look into the recording that you have interaction with your teachers or mentors or even your supervisors. So everything that you are going to think, talk about, you should be able to write down the ideas. Now you should place them and record them. ManageBack, please, you need to put them in ManageBack, and it is very, very important that you do record them all the time. Don't just put them in one go. You should be able to put them every single time that you have interview with your teacher, so that you are able to monitor everything. Now you have to have a daily basis for this, and then write up on what have you been completed, and then you have to sort of put them all things down. So here are some examples that you might be look into the process journal throughout your entire project. So you should have well organized. It must be easier to look into, and then so that when reviewing your final report, it is easier for the to be assessed internally and externally. Now the document is about thinking ideas and then developing of the project, how you the flow of your thinking should be looked into too. Must be able to look into your supervisors. The supervisor will be take into account on your academic honesty. Any written, visual, audio, electronics, or everything that you everything you made, you should put it down. Date of entry must be indicated, because in ManageBack, if you look into the date, every day you enter, it's just going to show that day that you entry the document. I would recommend you to have at least 10 journals, and then you are going to look into the extract in the appendices, like the learning approach, okay, your learner's profile, and the criteria. Now this is an example of this is an example of the outcome. Okay, maybe I should open up a new window. Now here is example of extracts of personal journal. You may see here, starting from brainstorming, and then write down some ideas so that you may able to account all the document. And then it can be a process of response, or anything that you would be able to come up with. Okay, document, videos, etc. should be able to sort things out. Now there are I made a short slide so that you will be able to have a account. So here is the first one. What should you you should do a checklist on your process journal, how you are going to account it for. Now determining the first one is to reflect on how you are going to brainstorm them. Once you have brainstormed, you can upload that, and then why did you decide this topic, and then most of the part, why is it are you excited for this topic? The second journal that you will look into, maybe you want to create, why do you want to create this? Write down the idea. Is it going to be a painting? Is it going to be a website? Is it going to be an essay? Or even make something out of anything? The third one is you can put into the planning stage. So make a plan, action plan on your product, and then maybe you can put down a list of things that you need to accomplish. Connecting with your global context. Okay, how would you be able to connect your global context with your project itself? How is it important to you in relation to the global context? Now, the next one, Journal 5, you may include the criteria, the first criteria. How would you be able to make it a successful criterion A? Now, for example, are you going to be creating a website criterion, or base it into a people's website or a comment itself? So here is a synopsis. I'll know I've done it a good job because why? Okay, so next one is to blend in all your notes. Maybe you can put into a journal, and then how would your global context be explained relationship? Okay, now, and then you should be able to ask feedback from your supervisor for this relation. So therefore, the supervisor that you ask for, is they will be able to look into how challenging your goal is. Is it too challenging? Maybe you need to do it again, and then what are the sources that you can get, and then their global context relationship. Is it applicable? Next is the research theme. Now, in your research, where are you going to research them? Or is it going to be only a website? I would recommend you to have deeper understanding with the research. The second one is, where do you hope to learn from it? Okay, what are your goal for this project? And then how will you be planning, or what is a central focus for your research? Well, are you going to prove something? Are you going to be just collecting data, or are you creating anything that is substantial for your likes? Now, when documenting your research, how are you doing that from your research itself? Maybe you can look into the publication or any website that you want to do, and then make sure that it is in MLA format. How are you going to format it? And there are some creation of our MLA, so you can use this website or EasyBib, or even just from Purdue. Okay, and then reflecting on your research, you reflect on, is it useful for your project? Okay, anything that would be able to make your project be more substantial enough. Okay, now in the next interview that you plan for your supervisor, please make sure that you have this one. Do I have enough information to achieve my goal in creating the project? If not, what additional information could I collect? So that's more about in research. Now, and look into with your supervisor, how can I best plan my time to complete the project and by the deadline? So time management. So the supervisor will look into how you should schedule your time, and then how would your information be accurate for your research. Now, in the process yourself, reflection and product development. So when you are creating your product now, so when you're creating your product, make sure that everything's well documented. So maybe it will be during Chinese New Year, you would be able to write down all this stuff. Now, the product may take the different form, maybe an essay or structure. Remember, check check with your check if it's 1,500 words to 2,000 words. In the guide, it can exceed to 3,000. Now, the outline for your paper, you should list down all the components that match on perfectly on how it will be graded. So look into that rubric. Okay, your first draft. Please make sure that your first draft is well documented and all is done. So reflect on what it should be look like. Now, your final project paper should be followed up, and the deadlines must be met, and then it should have uploaded in ManageBack. Okay, and the last one should be how are you taking the action. Okay, now when you are done, then you should be proud about yourself and reflect on what you think your performance is. Okay, so that's it. Good luck.